Yes, you know that. I do sit on the redevelopment board as the representative from Gary Community School Court. Also, in Mrs. Moore's last legislative meeting, she did have me to address the fact that I was one of those persons who was called to testify in Annapolis, Georgia, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I don't even know what happened with that deal, did you? I haven't either, and I had planned to do that yesterday, but excuses, and this is one, I guess. However, there is or was a bill on the floor that would give school board members, can't find the word, the opportunity to vote, to be a voting member on the redevelopment board. So in other words, that school board representative would also become a commissioner. Now how the board would be set up after that, I have no idea. And I only say that because you see the next thing on the agenda is TIF. And when I was at the meeting on Wednesday, I did request that Mr. Van Dyke come today so that we can get answers to some questions and be able to understand what's happening to, I always say it incorrectly, MAIACO, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about? The land acquisition company that's coming in here now. And also to give us an explanation of our land as it refers to TIF. I heard on yesterday that he was not available. I thought someone would be here to represent them. Dr. Wood, do you know whether they're going to send anyone?
No, they're not going to send anyone, but Attorney Coleman and Mr. Comer, who have been negotiating with them. So what Attorney Coleman is passing out is the TIF agreement and also the proposed TIF agreement as well as the other agreement, because as you remember, the mayor's conversation was both, and so I can get Mr. Comer on the phone as well, because he's been doing the building's job of trying to get this done. Most recently, he sent out, about 2 weeks ago, he sent an email out to everyone because it seemed like it had gotten stalled, and he included everybody on that email, and then it picked back up traction, so let me get him on the phone. But while I'm getting him on the phone, Attorney Comer.
Okay, well, what you have before you are both draft documents, working through these issues as far as the TIFs. It's involved in making sure that we get all the numbers that are correct. And so once we're able to finalize those numbers, then we will be able to put them into the agreement.
I guess I need to just ask this, you are the attorney, so you should know, with this just being a draft, is this a document that can be discussed in public?
This is my personal work product, so it's not something that I'm producing to the public. This is the document that I'm only giving to the board.
But you're discussing it in a public meeting, that's what I'm concerned about. How much of this should be discussed in a public meeting?
Not a lot of.
Can we just give a summary, especially for the new board members, and Brandon, I know Mr. Coleman is on the phone now, and so he may also be able to give a summary to the board of just where we've been and where we are now, and just a brief explanation of what's going on. Brandon?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Pruitt. Good morning, board members. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Comer.
Good. So briefly, I'll give a quick summary on the two respective MOUs. The first thing is TIF MOU. The way it currently reads, and we're close to a final draft, the current structure
Dr. Purdue, all the way up.
basically looks at the TIF district broken into two separate categories.
Hey, Brandon.
So,
Brandon, real quick, do you have your volume all the way up? Just one.
I do. Can't hear me well?
Can you hear now, Mr. Bill? I was looking at your expression.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, sorry about that. So what I was stating is for the TIF MOU, we've
Mr. Comer, Mr. Comer, may I interrupt you just for a minute? And I had addressed this with Attorney Coleman before you got on the phone. Because these things are under, still under negotiations or the discussion, and there are public, members of our public are in the room at this time. So I don't know how detailed we need to get into this, because right now it's still a work in progress, and we don't want to do anything that will cause us any headaches later on. So can you just give us an overview of what's happening with the district without getting into specifics?
And if I may, it's just basically, this is where I say we're still drafting. And so hopefully we'll be back soon with a final draft. But we wanted to keep the board apprised of what's been going on. We have a draft that, like I said, is attorney work product, but we just definitely want to keep the board informed of what's going on.
And we did have a call this afternoon, as Attorney Coleman was stating, we're very close to a final draft. I'll be meeting with the Redevelopment Commission via conference call this afternoon, to hopefully finalize the numbers, and then have what we hope to be a final draft circulated by the beginning of next week. So the hopes is that we can have this culminated prior to the March 1st Redevelopment Commission.
And when you're ready for that, we can most assuredly call an executive session with the board so that we can hear exactly what's going on, because it is kind of uncomfortable for me when I'm sitting at the redevelopment table and hear the attorney there report out, and I don't have any idea what he's talking about. And I would just like for the seven of us to always know, you know, where we are and hopefully getting close to where we want to be. So we do appreciate all that you have done and will continue to do to bring finality to this project.
Thank you, Mrs. Washington, Dr. Pruitt, and the board.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
great
Mr.
week.
Comer. See you on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. I'm completely lost. Is this pertaining to our land or what?
It could very well be, and that's kind of, that was my rationale for wanting Joe Van Dyke here today. Please, somebody tell me who is Joe DeVance?
Used to be a art teacher.
That's exactly, that's it. Yesterday, for whatever reason, I kept saying Joe DeVance all day yesterday. Then last night, I thought, it's not that, no. Mr. Blunt said, who are you talking about? And then I said, I think I'm using the wrong name. So it's Joe Van Dyke. That's why I wanted him here today, Mr. Bailey, so that he could hopefully bring some.
Mr. Comer may can, I'm not certain.
And what I could also offer too, if any board members wanted to come by the law firm and just sit down and discuss it, you know, we're available to do that. We have the draft. We can do a one-on-one meeting to just go over all of that too also.
Now,
Okay, try your question again, Mr. Bailey.
when can you come before the board and properly explain it?
Well, once we get a final draft, and that's where we're sort of giving you a precursor to the final draft. And so, but with the TIF, you gotta have the numbers in there. So if you don't have the numbers.
If I can, just because I think it may be important, that we are working to make certain that the conversations and the concerns that we have in reference to our land staying with Gary Community School Corporation and not being part of this give is, of the TIF, is not part of it. But also, like I said, I don't know how far we wanna go into it, but since it's already open, I don't wanna give the perception that we're negotiating to give away our land.
Right, I want to make sure of that. That's why I properly need to understand what's going on. And based on the figures that I heard, I'm uncomfortable with that compared to any parcel that we made.
And so, as Attorney Coleman just stated, I don't know, because we're almost at the end of this meeting, if you wanna stay and then you know, we can get Attorney Coleman as well as Mr. Comer to explain some things in smaller groups.
Okay.
Wait, just a minute, Mr. White.
I just let you know that I already heard that.
Go right ahead, Mr. Bill.
It's whatever the pleasure of the board is, we can do it after that.
Can we legally go meet for that, since it has not been advertised?
That's like I said, maybe in a small group.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I'm just a firm believer that what one board member knows, everybody should know. So Brandon will be here next week.
But Brandon will be in Indianapolis when we go
Oh,
to
when we go
Indianapolis
down.
on Tuesday.
But we could still do a conference call. Why don't we set that up so that all of us can hear? Those are very, very good questions. And that's how I feel when I'm sitting at that redevelopment table. And I hear the attorney make reports. And I think it was Wednesday, I immediately texted the superintendent and told her what had just been said. And I said, and I don't know what he's talking about. So that puts me at a disadvantage. I cannot represent you if I don't know what I'm representing.
Exactly.
So I think we can post an executive session that will talk exclusively about that one day next week.
That would be great, and we'll be glad to be there.
Okay.
Was any of our attorneys there with you?
No,
Okay.
well, no.
Okay.
Well, redevelopment is a separate board.
That's not true. Okay. I'm gonna let it go at that.
Okay, well,
I have
we
a
look forward to
question.
meeting.
Mr. Tolliver has a question. And then we move on.
I think it's very important that these informational sessions, I was happy to hear about the regular board meeting, because I think that these type of informational sessions should be collected rather than being done individually. I think we all should be sitting at the table so we can collectively discuss things.
And I
So
agree
I'm-
totally. That's
So
why I
I'm glad
made
to
the
hear
statement.
I'm glad to hear we're moving in that direction with this issue.
Well, we've been moving in that direction all the time. So thank you, Mrs. Attorney Coleman.
You're fine, thanks.
And Brandon is gone, right?
Yeah.
And Attorney Irvin is here too.
I'm good.